Welcome back to This Week in Agribusiness. If you're a regular viewer, you know there are some folks upon whom we regularly rely to get information about what's happening in various parts of the United States. One of those is Joe Gill, farm broadcaster at Kasm in Minnesota and also president-elect of the National Association of Farm Broadcasting. Joe, how have you been?
Max, we're doing great. It's been such an ideal fall here in this area and many parts of the country.
It has been remarkable to see just how much field work was accomplished, how beautiful the leaves have been on the trees across such a wide geography. Did harvest get accomplished in a timely manner in your part of the world, in Minnesota?
You know, harvest was outstanding, Max. I'd say pretty much all complete right now, just a little bit of corn out there, but a lot of folks I talk to who are out combining corn or whatever it may be, it's going, straight to the co-op. They don't have to do any sort of dry down. I guess that's a benefit of not seeing any rain, kind of being in a drought area. So a lot of folks really, nothing hindering. We had 2 minor frosts, but otherwise nothing major to really get in the way. And right now we got a lot of folks baling corn straw, so that bedding for the winter, that's going to be an added plus.
You mentioned drought. I assume you need to catch up on some moisture ahead of the next growing season. Is that right?
Yes, we could use a good old-fashioned Minnesota winter, I think, just to get some of that moisture back here. Last couple of months, I would say, conservatively under 5 total inches, maybe 4 inches since September, maybe late August. Pastures for those cattle that were grazing actually did hang in there pretty decent, but just overall for the soil and such, we could use some more rain. You can see some of these small streams and rivers very low. And of course, that's kind of a side note to everybody talking about the Mississippi and that being low as well.
You post on a regular basis some of the results at sale barns there in the area. Share with us what you've been seeing.
You know, Max, I wish I had a truckload of Black Angus feeders weighing 500 pounds right now. Watching a couple sales yesterday, well over $2. Seeing some of those black cattle, 2.5 up to 250. So you're looking at a steer weighing 350, 375. You're paying $1,000 a head. It's just unreal. And in this area too, where we still have a lot of dairy concentrated, a lot of added value for our dairy farmers as they're using Angus genetics and getting these Angus crossbred calves, which most of the time will bring triple the price of a straight up Holstein bull calf.
You know, it's interesting to hear. I knew there was some dairy in your area, still quite a few family operations there. And what would be the typical size?
Yeah, dairy is still the backbone of we're the biggest dairy county here in the state and still the backbone of our general area. It's hard to measure that average size because I can go a mile down one road and there's a person who milks 58 cows. I can go 3 miles to my north and there's a farm with 2,000 cows. So I see everything from stanchion milking to somebody who's got a robot and 64 cows. So it still varies a lot. It kind of depends upon where you go. There's a nice mixture, but a lot of people are starting to edge closer to that technology, especially the robots, which can save on the labor, which has been an issue, and also just give you a little more freedom as well as a dairy farmer.
And to maybe encourage a younger generation of dairy men and women to come back to the farm, those who certainly want to be able to take a vacation, maybe the kind that their parents or grandparents couldn't take, right, Joe?
Yeah, the day of hearing the dairy farmers saying, you know what, Max, I haven't missed a milking in 38 years. Well, I don't think you're ever going to hear that anymore. And kids nowadays, like my own, boy, they love technology. So if you can, take agriculture, toss in that nugget of technology, I think it's going to pique more interest as well.
A robotic milker is pretty pricey. What is the price tag? $250,000 or so?
I'd say you're right in the ballpark right there. I just spoke to a young lady. It was her and her husband who were talking about getting out of dairy farming. They're ready to retire, but they had kids who wanted to milk cows. Well, we kind of lost contact. A couple of weeks later, she said, look what came in the yard today, and it was 4 robotic milkers. So she said, we were at the point to, all right, let's step away, we're done, or do we jump back in, help the next generation? They elected to do that, and she seems pretty excited to do it.
That's a neat story. Looking ahead, our meeting of the National Association of Farm Broadcasting is just a few days away. You'll be taking over the helm of that group of ours, and you help plan this meeting. What can members look forward to when they get together in Kansas City, Joe?
It's going to be a great meeting once again, and once again being held in Kansas City, where it's been for many years. And this year, we're really going to have a chance to focus on many topics that we discuss on a daily basis. We're going to be talking taxes and estate. I know a lot of farmers have issues and discussions there. We're going to talk technology, whether it's in the farm tractor cab or in your truck or your car. We're going to talk about that. We're going to be gathering right after the election. So we're going to also get that input on, well, what happened? How is that going to affect us? How is it going to affect agriculture? How is it going to affect the farm bill? So that's just kind of scratching the surface, but a lot of topics that we're all well aware of.
It's a great bunch. We look forward to getting together. We look forward to your leadership, sir. Thanks for taking the time to join us this weekend.
Thanks, Max.
Joe Gill, he's on the radio KASM in Minnesota, and one of our officers of the National Association of Farm Broadcasting, soon to take over the presidency. There's more coming up here on this weekend's broadcast.